Throughout history, fashion and personal style have played a significant role in shaping how people are perceived. While many hairstyles have stood the test of time, others have definitely left a mark for their sheer oddity. From ancient civilizations to modern-day eccentric trends, these are some of the weirdest and most unforgettable hairstyles from history that still make us raise an eyebrow. 1. The ancient Egyptian shaved look. Ancient Egyptians were known for their elaborate wigs, but one of the most unusual aspects of their hairstyle culture was the complete shaving of the head. Both men and women shaved their heads to keep cool in the hot desert climate, wearing wigs made from human or sheep hair for social status or ceremonial purposes. While practical, the bald look paired with the extravagant wigs could certainly be seen as strange by today's standards. 2. The Viking braids. Viking hairstyles were distinctively wild and often featured long, flowing hair combined with intricate braids. While braids aren't inherently odd, the way Vikings used them in combination with their often unkempt beards gave the look a rugged and sometimes intimidating appearance. The men would frequently braid their hair and beards into elaborate designs, making their hairstyles a unique part of their fierce persona. 3. The beehive of the 1960s. The beehive hairstyle, popularized by figures like singer Amy Winehouse and actress Audrey Hepburn, involved a towering mass of hair piled on top of the head. It was shaped to look like a beehive, often held together with large amounts of hairspray. While iconic for the era, the beehive certainly looked more like something you'd see in an insect's nest than a fashionable hairdo. 4. The bowl cut of the 1990s. Popularized by the likes of the Beatles in the 1960s, but most famously worn by young boys throughout the 1990s, the bowl cut featured a straight fringe around the head, often appearing as if a bowl had been placed on top and the hair cut around it. While it was considered trendy for a short time, the bowl cut is remembered for its overly simplistic and somewhat odd appearance. 5. The mullet. Business in the front, party in the back, the mullet has made its mark on history as one of the most iconic yet strange hairstyles ever. First made famous in the 1970s and 1980s, the mullet was a combination of short, neatly styled hair in the front with long, shaggy locks at the back. It defied all the traditional rules of hairstyling and continues to be a source of both admiration and ridicule. 6. The afro. The afro hairstyle, famously worn by figures like Diana Ross and Angela Davis in the 1960s and 1970s, celebrated natural hair and became a symbol of pride during the civil rights movement. While the afro is undeniably iconic and important, its sheer volume and shape can look a bit odd to some, especially if not maintained properly. The look was all about making a bold statement with wild, fluffy hair that demanded attention. 7. The powdered wig. During the 17th and 18th centuries, both men and women of the European aristocracy wore powdered wigs as part of their formal attire. These wigs, often made from horsehair, were styled into elaborate curls and then dusted with a layer of white powder, giving the hair an almost ghostly appearance. While fashionable at the time, these wigs are now remembered as one of the oddest and most extravagant hair trends in history. 8. The rat tail. The rat tail hairstyle was most famously worn in the 1980s and 1990s, involving a long, thin strip of hair at the nape of the neck while the rest of the hair was kept short or shaved. Often associated with rebellious youth culture, the rat tail was a strange mix of punk and practical, yet it didn't age well and is now regarded as a peculiar fashion faux pas. 9. The Liberty spikes. While punk rock culture celebrates individuality, one of its strangest hairstyle trends has to be the Liberty spike. Popularized in the 1980s, this style involves using hair gel to create tall, spiked hair, often in multiple sections, resembling the spikes of the Statue of Liberty's crown. The extreme nature of Liberty spikes was a symbol of rebellion, but the look itself was undeniably over the top. 10. The hair tapestry of the 1800s. In the Victorian era, many women would engage in a bizarre practice of creating intricate hair tapestries, or hair jewelry, which involved weaving their hair into decorative patterns or using it to create small sculptures. While the practice was rooted in sentimental and cultural value, the end result often resembled something far more like a strange craft project than a fashionable hairstyle. Throughout history, many hairstyles have pushed the boundaries of fashion and personal expression. Whether it's the towering heights of the beehive, the wildness of the afro, or the bizarre powdered wigs, these looks have stood the test of time for their sheer oddity. Today, they stand as quirky reminders of how hair can be a form of self-expression, no matter how strange it may seem.